We're going to look at some charts today. There's a couple of articles that we're going to be reading through and just looking at some various charts. So thanks to Rex. You guys can go check that out if you wanted to. So the rise of prediction markets. So this is the first chart. I wouldn't say it's a chart. I guess the actual chart relevant to it is who will win the presidential election, which sort of ties in with the fact that we've got this site Kalshi and the site Polymarket. These are prediction markets. Now, I don't love the interface of this. Firstly, it's sort of light themed, which sort of just hurts my eyes. And I prefer this dark one, but it's basically the same thing. Although I think this is basically using crypto. I didn't really look too closely at Kalshi. To be honest, I had heard of these things, but this is sort of crazy. You can literally... This is not an advertisement. Don't do this. But you can literally bet on anything. Will Luigi Mangione plead guilty? Who knows? Some of these are a bit crazy. One of them was like Elon Musk number of tweets December. Well, like if I was Elon Musk, I know he's already the world's richest person, but for fun, I'd probably just do some bets on this. Does he really tweet that much? That's crazy. Well, some people see this is quite a small little 300 to 324. It's very specific. I don't know how many times he tweets. You would think it's less than 300 in a month, isn't it? That would be like less than 10 times a day. Maybe he tweets a lot. I don't know. I know he's sort of a bit famous for his tweets now, but TikTok banned in the US before May 2025. I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, that's just crazy stuff. Creators. This is not creators. Science. Oh, science. Global heat increase. Oh, Lord. New Jersey mystery drones. That was quite funny. Shot down by Friday. So a lot of these have really low chances. Will the US confirm aliens exist? Sports, I guess, is a bit more generic. But anyway, yeah, come check out this website. It's quite fun. I like the idea of this. Maybe we will make something like this that doesn't actually use real money, so people can just sort of play, and you're playing more for points rather than money. That could be fun. Although I guess it is just crypto, which you can get quite cheap, I'm guessing. I don't know what currencies they're using. Anyway, I feel like I've been too distracted by this. But the point was, for this first one, and, firstly I'd like to thank Beyonce, is that we have these rise of prediction markets. And so this is Kalshi. That's the first one we looked at. Cumulative number of traders over time. So this is actually from 2021, which is when we sort of had our first proper crypto boom, I think. Or was that more 2017? I feel like time's gone by so quick. I think it was 2017 and then 2021 and then now 2024. I guess these have become more mature. And then this is the cumulative volume. So this is the number of traders, and that's the volume, which obviously roughly matches this, which is quite interesting. We're clearly seeing prediction markets inflect. This is a fascinating phenomenon. Knowledge, for the first time, can be properly monetized. That's an interesting way of wording that. I guess that's true. I feel like, does that not just make insider trading and stuff like that even more? Do you know, this is the thing. People who have... You could argue that people in power don't really need more money. But what's stopping from someone like... I don't know. There's probably not enough liquidity for it to be useful to Elon Musk, so it's a bad example. But other people who are, you could, like, if you're just someone who's sort of remotely famous or has something, you can make a bet. I'm sure some people would take that bet. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. You could monetize your own knowledge. Although with a lot of these, yeah. So that's one. We did go on a bit of a tangent there, but that's fine. Will 2025 be the year of distributions? I don't really know what that means. Last year, US venture firms returned 26 billion to their limited partners, the lowest amount since 2011. So the lowest in like the last 15 years. And they invested more than 60 billion more than they collected. That's quite interesting. But is this not just because there's loads and loads of funding going into AI? Venture firms. This is one reason the fundraising market's been so tough. Back in order funds, according to Pitch Book, a number of active VC firms have fallen. Because a lot of these AI companies, I feel like, aren't making money yet. It's just like we're pumping money in, and some money is coming out. Khan has been aggressively fighting acquisitions. I guess we need to read this if we want to find out what's happening. They've been aggressively fighting acquisitions, for instance, blocking Adobe's 20 billion Figma acquisition, which would have been seen a record for a venture-backed startup, surprising Meta's 19 billion purchase of WhatsApp. I mean, that's quite interesting in itself. There's nothing too interesting in there for me, so we're just going to move on. One bonus chart to make you bullish on the next 50 years of company creation and growth. Here's a chart that showcases US innovation beside the EU. A good example of how policy and culture influence business. Oh man, I don't know where to start with this though. Like, yeah, US is probably better in that sense, but I feel like they have less sort of labor laws and they're trying. I don't know. I won't touch this. I'm just going to say I'm not knowledgeable enough, but yeah, the US is much better at generating value for reasons. The experience economy roars back. So Biden's grocery bump, 4-year price inflation reached its highest point in decades. Okay, so what have we got here? Percentage change in food CPI versus 4 years ago. So 1984, literally 1984. So it was here. It was quite high in 92, and then quite high in 08. Which was obviously the depression, I think, at least one of the depressions, and then it's just crazy. But it looks like that's going down. Grocery prices haven't risen this quickly since the 80s. Before we're talking about experience economy wars back. But one thing in the US, consumers are doing just fine. On Black Friday last week, US e-commerce spending was up 15%. Pandemic. Goods versus experience. This is what we actually wanted to see. I don't want to read the text. Nobody reads. Goods versus experience. Indexed sales growth. So experiences. So basically, experiences are up and consumer goods are down. So, or flat. Obviously, experiences were massively down in 21 due to the fact that it was COVID and you couldn't do any experiences. Travel experiences has gone up massively. I don't know what an OTA is. Well, here's a nice picture for us to look at. Live Nations event attendance is hitting new highs. It's not, again, not surprising. What does it mean to be financially successful? Oh yeah, this one is quite interesting. Like Gen Z, like what is up with you? I guess it does just depend on definitions. I think this is like a clear case of like seeing influencers and thinking, yeah, I mean, there's not many places in the world that you can earn 600k a year. USA is one of them in certain areas, but even then I imagine that's sort of decreasing as sort of software becomes a skill more and more people have. Boomers, 100k, Gen X, 200k, Millennials, 180k. I would be under Millennial. And then Gen Z is just like way higher, 600k. Yeah, it sort of depends on your definition, I guess. 200k is fine, right? I mean, in the UK, it's completely different. Earn a lot less than that. You don't need to earn. If you're earning 200k in the UK, firstly, you'd be paying loads on tax, and yeah, you'd be doing really well. Even on 100k here, you're doing really well. So the main thing, honestly, the biggest problem is housing. That's the only thing that's like crazy expensive. Here, everything else is fine. So if you have a house, and especially if you've got no mortgage, then even on 40k in the UK, you're doing amazingly. You know, if you have no expenses. Um, yeah. The space race. Annual number of objects launched into space. The world, the United States. I would actually like to see this graph with just SpaceX versus the world versus the United States. I imagine SpaceX is like a large part of even the US market. I guess there's other. I don't know what Blue Origin is doing at the moment, if I'm really honest. So yeah, I do know that SpaceX has got thousands of satellites in, I think, low Earth orbit for their Starlink, and I think they're planning on having something like 40,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. Water. What are you doing? So that's the first article. I think the funnest thing in here was obviously being able to bet on anything. So that's quite cool. Whatever your views are on this. Let's see. I didn't even know this was a thing. I guess it's a 4% chance. 20. Where was Elon Musk's thing? Number of. No, it doesn't even have a number. Oh yeah, 20. What happens if I click on it? Okay, you can go quite cheap, to be fair. Sort of more for fun, I guess. Maybe we can do a bit of this at some point. Anyway, distracted again. This week in part 2, again, thanks Rex. The rise of ketamine. Okay. You what? But this is from 6. I don't know. I'm just going to ignore this bit here. Tough times for VC fundraising. We already saw that, didn't we? Essentially, fundraising is down. So capital raised. It's down. We peaked in 2021 during COVID. Interestingly, is this during COVID or post COVID? I don't really remember. I think COVID was an interesting time where a lot of things actually went up in value, because everyone just sort of said things are more expensive now because of inflation. Lol. And I guess there was loads of money printed as well. So yeah. Although this is specifically VC funding, I guess. Who do young Americans live with? So the average age of first-time mother. Okay, so that's the first thing. So the average age of first-time mother in 2001 was 25-ish, and in 2023 now it's about 28. Or 27, I guess, 27 and a half. Clear trend, which will probably just increase. I don't know too many people in real life who are having kids, and yeah, don't know, we'll see. Who do 25 to 34-year-olds live with? So this is from 68 to 2023. Living with a spouse used to be 80% in 68, and now it's 39%. I mean, over 80% is sort of crazy, and this is for 25 to 34-year-olds. So I'd be in that category. And I'm living with spouses, someone you're married to, right? Sorry, I'm stupid. Spouse, a marriage partner. I guess yeah, I guess in the 60s, I don't know if there was like, yeah, living with parents or other relatives, 28%. That's increased, and it used to be quite low. In fact, this almost made up all of it, right? You were living with parents or other relatives, or you were married living with your spouse in 68. That was pretty much, there's not much left here. That's about 85%, and that's about 15%. There's a couple percent maybe. Yeah, as we can see down there. Living alone, living with a partner, that's, I guess, where I'm at. And that's increased from 0% when that would have been frowned upon to 16%. That's just going to increase. You almost need to be in a relationship to own a house. At least here. Living alone, that's increased. And then blue, living with roommates. Again, that's just sort of renting. Boomers selling their home for 4.7 million in 2023 after selling it for jar of pickles. Yeah, pretty much. The decline of church attendance. Now, why does this not surprise me? So single person households have more than tripled since 1940. Okay. Single person households have more than tripled since 1940. Not too surprising. More people have gained independence in that time, I suppose. US church membership. Still quite high, higher than I expected. So 73% pre-World War II. Pretty much stable until sort of 1970. And then starting to decrease. And then a couple of... It's quite interesting to see a couple of increases. I wonder what happened. This has got to be like post 9/11. More people going to church in the US. And then it just falls off a cliff a little bit. But 47% is still high. This is a big drop. We're down 25% in percentage points in 80 years. And it's not because PDF is replacing... What's PDF? Oh, right. PDF becomes fourth most popular religion. Yeah, okay. Millennials and a third of Gen Zs are atheists in urban places like New York. It's significantly higher. It's not too surprising. ATT and mobile gaming spend. What's ATT? ATT in gaming. TNT. Splatoon. Oh, did not know that. I thought it was still increasing. I guess everyone has a mobile at this point. So what are we looking at? Mobile gaming, PC, Mac gaming, home consoles, and handheld consoles. Handheld consoles is getting a bit of a gain. I imagine this will somewhat increase, would be my guess. Home consoles, yeah, we all know that like throughout the... Oh, this is starting quite late. It'd be interesting to see this from like the 2000s. But even here, I'm guessing... When was... What console are we on now? When was PS5 released? I'm guessing that'll be... That was launched in 2020. So there's sort of that increase. What happened in... I'm not sure why there's an increase in like in this time period, but I guess there was, and since then we stayed flat. It looks like PC gaming, on the other hand, there does seem to be like a slow, really slow and steady increase, like really slow. I can imagine that still grows more as well. I don't know any of this. The mobile thing is quite interesting. I hate mobile gaming. I don't do any mobile gaming. I did play consoles whilst I was a kid, but probably for the last 10 years, mostly just played PC. And I never liked mobile gaming, ever. I mean, maybe Candy Crush, but, at some point, like 10, I don't know, a few years ago, or like playing, yeah, I don't know. I don't like mobile gaming. It's not for me. AI's impact on freelancing. High value, low value. Percentage change in pay since ChatGPT rolled out in November 2022. Now I'm trying to understand this. So did pay go up in these ones, IT, and then did pay... Okay, I'm too stupid to understand this. High value tasks are defined as complex and requiring skill, while low value ones are repetitive, routine, and can often be automated. Well, yes. Essentially, freelance jobs that require basic writing, coding, or translation are disappearing across postings on Upwork. Not surprising. In other words, tasks that AI is pretty good at. So this is saying... Okay. So it's saying admin support is a high value task, whereas writing is a low value task, as is translation. So it's as is, okay. I'm just trying to understand this a bit better. Last week's piece looked at how AI will impact average hours worked and average output per hours worked. We also looked at why Mark Andreessen's prediction of the end of the 9-to-5 workday won't come true. Speaking of AI's impact on work, AI already has a strong impact on the freelance economy, blah, blah, blah. Interesting report here. I don't know if we can look at that. No. Essentially, freelance jobs that require basic writing, coding, and translation are disappearing across. God, I'm really not understanding this chart. Percentage of change in pay. So is it saying that on average, the pay has gone down by, like, say, 17% in writing? Right, okay. So basically, jobs where AI helps have increased 40% for the freelancer pay, but jobs that are easy, as in low value, have dropped. Yeah, I mean, translation would be so easy. If you were like early on with ChatGPT and you were offering translation services or writing services, you really could have done a lot. You could have made a lot of money quite quickly, probably, before people caught on. Anyway, that's it for this video. Yeah, see you in the next one.